Good morning, guys. It is January 17th, 2024. In this video, I'm going to give you an update on this 2005 GE washer and dryer set. Um, as you may know, I've done some videos on these machines in the past. I've done a video on replacing the timer knob here and a few other things. I don't think I got a video, but I replaced the agitator coupling that goes underneath this. And I will say that helped extend the life of this machine. However, the other day I did a load of laundry and it did not spin. So my clothes were sopping wet and it had a burnt smell to it. Opened it up, looked in here, and it looks like, everything looks good. Nothing's seized up, so I don't know if it was a fluke or what. But the kicker is it's been making a lot of noise lately. Like the last 3 to 6 months, it's been just very loud on the spin cycle. And so I've been doing research trying to figure out, like, okay, is it a bearing that needs to be replaced? Is it what is it? And so I'm looking into it, and come to find out, it's most likely a tub bearing and possibly a transmission. And so I would have to strip the entire thing down, take this top panel off, the front panel off, take the drum out, take the inner drum out of the outer drum, turn it over, take the, motor off, all of that just to get to the bearing, and then put it all back together. Well, I was thinking about that, like, okay, I might, like, look into that and see. Well, then this, happened where it wouldn't spin, and I walk in here and it smells burnt, and, like, there's, like, a smoky haze in this room. This room is not very big. It's, like, maybe the size of a walk-in closet in a modern home. It's not that big. So, I just was like, okay, this is not good. So we take the panel off. Belt looks fine, pulleys are moving fine. But there's a tiny leak coming from somewhere. I don't know where, I don't know if it's the drum, I don't know what it is. But there's a tiny leak, and there's rust all inside the bottom of the cabinet here. I mean, I would take it apart to show you, but that's a little bit too much work for this video. But yeah, so for now, it's working, but we would have to keep a close eye on it to see, and make sure that it actually runs and doesn't stall out like that. And yeah. And mind you, I mean, we're in 2024. These machines are going to be 19 years old. And so, I'm not surprised that there's issues, but at the same time, it's kind of a bummer. But it's getting to the point now where it's like you're almost spending as much as you would to get another machine. And, that doesn't fix the rust problem. That doesn't fix, the leaking problem, or most likely it wouldn't. And there's no guarantee on that. So, and then plus there's small things like the load side selector knob is broken off, including the shaft. Like that shaft just broke clean off like 13 years ago in a move, 14 years ago. And so, and those small parts can be replaced. When you got like major issues with it not spinning, and then the whole thing is worn out, it's kind of like you're just, you can see there's rust and stuff. And we've had this since it was new in 2005. So, and then here's the dryer. It's got some rust spots. Dryer works fine, but it's probably on its way out too, because it's just as old. And so, yeah, so you're looking at probably a good several $100s to, fix this. And it basically needs a complete overhaul. Let's be real here. It needs to be completely rebuilt. And though I would like to do that, I also know that it's not realistic when when it's literally rusting and there's a small leak coming from somewhere that's probably only going to get worse, and you're talking major parts that need to be replaced, and then there's no guarantees. I don't know. Now, I don't know what we're doing exactly, but it's looking like we're gonna replace this set at some point. And so, yeah. But these have been good and faithful and reliable for many, many years. They have given us great service. And these machines weren't that expensive back in the day. They were like a pretty good deal. And so I will say that we got our money's worth out of these. And I'm very happy with that. So I'm gonna turn on the dryer so you can hear it. Yeah, so it's starting to make some noise, and it's probably on its way out too. And I don't want to start up the washer because I don't want to, run it more than we have to, because it's literally on borrowed time right now. But yeah, so unfortunately, this has pretty much reached its life. Maybe somebody can rebuild it, but literally right now, It's in the dead of winter where I'm at. It's like single digits, maybe, teens outside. And working on this thing when it's super cold and everything just doesn't seem realistic. And we need clean clothes, so, but they've been good machines, and I cannot say anything bad about them. You know, they've surpassed my minimum requirement with appliances of 10 to 15 years. So, the very fact that we got very close to 20 years out of these, I'm not complaining. They have been very good machines. They have lasted forever. I mean, and basically I've grown up with these machines. Pretty much. I mean, I was 6 years old when my parents bought these. So, yeah, I mean, I basically learned how to do laundry with these machines. So, that should tell you, and I'm gonna be turning 25 this year. So, that should tell you some history behind these machines. And they've been wonderful. I mean, yeah, they've had a little bit of stuff, but up until like the last 3 years, we've had absolutely zero issues. The agitator coupling went out, and so it wasn't agitating, and so I had to replace that. It's probably like a $15 part, and then the knob stripped out, so literally you push it in, and instead of it turning, it would literally just push it in and then it just spin. So you'd have to like hold the outer edges of the certain part, so but yeah, so it's worked pretty well, and it's been very, very, very reliable. So I do not have any complaints. I'm not like, oh, this is just a piece of junk, because these machines have been very, very, very faithful. We have moved these around in like 6 different homes that we've moved, and they've gone with us everywhere. And so they have been faithful, and they have been tough machines that have held up. I mean, they've been put through the ringer, literally. I mean, I remember, I wasn't thinking, and I shoved a big king comforter in this thing. This was like 10 years ago. No problem whatsoever. Didn't even hesitate. And it kept going even after that. That was like 10, 12 years ago. So, and I don't recommend doing that. That was stupid. Back in the day. That was stupid. I wasn't thinking straight there. I was just thinking, oh, I'll just get this clean and, it'll be good. No, that was dumb. But it survived. That's the thing, it survived. So, for anybody who says that older machines are just pieces of crap, I'm going to tell you right now, this is a testimony to how well machines used to be built. And I'm not saying that there aren't good machines out there, because I know there are. But if you have an older machine that's still in good shape and still running, hang on to it. And honestly, I don't give a rip about the way this looks. It's all rusty in certain areas. It's scuffed. It's got spots. It's got stuff going on. It's got little dings and stuff. I don't know where that came from, but probably when we moved or something. I don't know. But it's got some stuff that's not so pretty. But you know what? I don't care, because literally the door is closed. And nobody's going to see these machines. Not really. So, if they're tucked away in a basement, if they're tucked away in a laundry room, you should not be worried about what they look like. You should be worried about, is it going to last, and is it going to perform, and is it going to be reliable? That is it. And so, but yeah. So, and I know a lot of people out there, in the appliance community, they swear by, Speed Queen washing machines and dryers and stuff. Listen, realistically, if we could afford a Speed Queen washer and dryer, I'm sure we would get one. But that's not realistic. I certainly couldn't afford one. So I'm doing the best research that I can to get the best machine that we can that will last as long as we can, because at the end of the day, you just do the best you can, with what you can afford. And just like what I say with the vacuum cleaners, a Kirby vacuum cleaner is not for everybody. Not everybody can afford a Kirby vacuum cleaner. Not everybody wants a Kirby vacuum cleaner. It's the same thing with the Speed Queen washing machines. Would I really love a Speed Queen washing machine and dryer? Oh, you bet you. Absolutely. If money were no object, I would get a Speed Queen. No question. But that is not within our budget. And you need to be realistic and smart with your finances as well. When you're buying these things, or buying anything for that matter. And that's what I preach, And like I said, if money were no object, I would go and just get a commercial grade machine and just be done, I wouldn't even question it. I would just be like, okay, this is what we're gonna get. But I am doing research, and from appliance repair people, from what I'm hearing, it's sounding like the best general brand that's kind of on the affordable side tends to be Whirlpool. Now, I don't know for sure And I don't know enough about these to really make an informed decision. Um, but, I am trying to do research and I want to look into stuff that's very similar to what we've had, because this has been working. Um, all the fancy electronics and everything. I don't care what anybody says. There's no need for crazy electronics in a washing machine. Or any appliance for that matter. All these machines are doing, it is literally filling with water, washing your clothes, draining, wringing them out. That's all it's doing. And all it needs is mechanical parts. Simple. Same thing with the dryer. The dryer, all it's doing is heating the drum and tumbling your clothes around. That is it. So, for the people who want to argue with me and say, well, the modern machines that have all the electronics are just better and they're more efficient and stuff, I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, all I want is something simple and something that will get the job done. And something that's not going to be a pain when it needs repairs. Because, let's face it, all machines are eventually going to need a repair. All machines are eventually going to need to be serviced. All machines are going to need parts replaced at some point. The simpler you keep it and the more robust you keep it, the longer it's going to last and the easier it's going to be and the cheaper it's going to be to fix them. And nobody can convince me otherwise. I live by that, I stand by that, and I mean that. So, you can say, oh, you can, get all these fancy features all you want. But at the end of the day, if it's not going to be a good machine. Now, are there some machines that have a little bit fancier features that don't do such a bad job and actually hold up okay? Yes, I'm sure there are. I'm not saying that there's not. But appliances are a huge investment. I mean, to get this kind of setup, you're looking at, in today's money, you're looking at probably $1,300 to $1,600 for the washer and the dryer for this set. And that's not a high-end machine either. And so, finding something that's going to last and actually do a good job and not break down on you is way more important than a bunch of fancy features. For me. Now, if you want to go and do whatever you want to do, you go right ahead. That is your money, and that is your machine, and that is your house. You can do what you want. But, at the end of the day, I don't care if a washing machine uses 40 gallons of water. As long as it gets my clothes clean, and it does a good job, and it lasts, that's all I care about. So, this is why I say keep it simple. And so, but anyway, yeah, so that's just an update with a little tangent there. I tell you, some people just, I mean, a lot of people just look with their eyes and they don't look at the whole picture, you know? And so that's why I'm just going off on that tangent, because, like, a lot of people just don't think about that stuff. They're like, oh, well, it looks good and it looks cool. Well, you can have the prettiest, fanciest washer and dryer out there, but if it's not going to do the job and it's not going to last, that is not going to mean squat. At the end of the day, what is the job of a washer and dryer? It's to wash and dry your laundry. So, what good does a pretty machine do if it's not going to do that? Or it's not going to do it well? And especially if it's not going to last. There is no point by then, because you've wasted your money. So, you know, but anyway. So there's an update for you. Yeah, I mean, I've been looking at parts. I mean, parts are very expensive. Like a transmission is like $100, and then you add in the rust and the small leak and some other parts that may be going bad. I mean, at the end of the day, that's probably more money than it's worth. And these machines were like under $500 a piece back in the day. So if we got 18, almost 19 years out of these, I think we've gotten our money's worth. Big time. So believe me, I do have reality in my mind. But why I push repairs and trying to look at repairing stuff is sometimes it's something as simple as a knob that you can replace for like $10, or as simple as an agitator coupling that you can replace for $15. And had I not done that kind of research and looked at that stuff, we would have missed out on an extra 3 years of life out of this machine. So there is a point where, yes, there is a point where it makes more sense to replace the machine. You know, because everything has their lifespan. You know, and there's comes a point where it's just silly to be messing around when stuff is just totally messed up. So you gotta kind of weigh your odds here, you know. Sometimes it makes sense to fix it, like I said, with the simple stuff. And then sometimes there's major parts, and if you've gotten 10, 15, 20 years out of the machine, then it's lived its life, you know? Now, if it didn't have the leaking issue, if it didn't have the major issue, and it was just a belt, I would just change the belt and keep it going. But since it has the small leak, since it has the rust, since it has possibly a transmission issue, since it has, you know, all this other stuff, you know, realistically, I think it makes more sense to replace it at this point. And, you know, the more research I've done and the more I've talked to people, the more they agree with me that it makes sense to do that and go that route. So, but I don't know what the new machines are going to look like. I don't know what they're going to be, but I will have a video on those new machines whenever they come and let you guys see those. But yeah, I mean, these babies have been absolutely incredible machines, and I've had zero complaints with them all these years. Zero. And so I am not complaining that they're finally going out. I mean, they have outlived, you know, my minimum requirement by several years. So, but anyway, um, I will close out this video now. Um, yeah. So thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos.